My name's Scheidt. I grew up in Southwest Minnesota. Been into music and audio pretty much my whole life. I'm super happy to be in the industry just because I love music and I love the equipment that makes music sound great. I work for Aurender, so a South Korean manufacturer of streamers, servers, and DACs. They were brought to market about 15 years ago when our founder realized that there was a missing component in the marketplace where people were using a computer that people would use to surf the internet and make spreadsheets and make Google Docs. And it's like, we should make one dedicated for music because, you know, he saw the evolution happening. The digital was happening, CDs were beginning to be phased out, streaming services were coming in. He's like, how do I make a product that is designed for this specific purpose? For inspiration, I guess it was lack of inspiration for what I was doing before. And the highlight of my week probably was a guy came in and we talked about turntables for like half an hour while I was selling him a phone. And I was like, I don't get that excitement from my day-to-day job. I was like, I need to do something in the industry. And just fortunate enough that I was able to start out. A company relocated from Berkeley to essentially the town I was living in, and I applied and got it, and I started in tech support, and that's kind of how you work your way up. I really like the ACS-10 because since I was a kid I was buying a lot of CDs, so I've hoarded them, and that allows you to make a great wave rip of that CD. It searches and finds the metadata for you, so now instead of having to go to the shelf to pull it off, I can just pull it up in our app and my whole CD collection's at my fingertips. So I love that. And I also did the A/B test that I found ripping the same CD from a computer was inferior. So using our products gives me the better product audibly. And then probably the N20, because as soon as I was hired, everyone's like, you have to hear the N20, you have to hear it. So that was my first request, and it was the best transport I had heard. I was actually going through the guide to set up for Expona, and they're like, they have a really nice checklist on what to go through, and they're like, oh, if you want acoustic treatment, here's 3 recommendations. And they said you guys had great reviews. I love that you were like a local business, and you're super responsive to my emails and everything too. So I was like, yeah, I know that building a system in these suites is a challenge and you don't get to switch the room out to your needs or to your liking. So I wanted to do everything I could to make our stereo sound the best that it could. There's a TV on the wall that you can't move has reflections, and there's a headboard on the other side. And one thing I didn't like that I had done in the past was having to lean them against the wall, and I do that in my system too because I'm non-committal to the acoustic panels I had. So I love that there were stands there. They look nice against the wall, and yeah, getting great results. I went to an Audio Society meeting a few years ago, and he polled a group of a bunch of older gentlemen and myself, and he's like, what is the most important thing in a system? And everyone was, you know, the amplifier, the speakers, speaker placement, and he's like, oh, well, number 1 is the room, and then afterwards is power. And that just kind of resonated with me, and I obviously still remember it to this day. So what you can do to tame the room, you don't really hear how good the equipment is that you're buying until you put it in a room that's been properly treated, or at least that's the philosophy that I follow. To get the return on your investment of great audio equipment, I think you should consider treating the room, or do that before you make a huge purchase somewhere else where you might not be hearing its full potential. I think you just need to be in the right mindset, and honestly your ears are an amazing tool that are free. One of the biggest things you can do is just play with speaker placement. I've been absolutely amazed at moving a speaker a 1/4 inch or the rake angle just ever so slightly. People are counting threads as they're setting up our speakers. Like, it's a science. You know, dialing it in and listening to it with your ears, you can hear the results of the little tweaks that you're doing. So a lot of it is just patience, and like, don't give up. A lot of times, I mean, you might have a set of speakers for 2 years, and all of a sudden it just clicked one day, you moved it ever so slightly, and now all of a sudden you're delighted with your system.